a gambler, run around with the wrong crowd. They drank and everything, but I never drank, never smoked, okay? Because it would interfere with my gambling, okay? And I always wanted to have a heads up on everybody that was drinking, smoking, and all that stuff, okay? Then in May of '63, we moved away from Delmar Hodge and come to Bossier City, okay? Then that got me away from the crowd down there and everything, and I thought things would be better. Nope, it wasn't better. I found the bookmakers in Bossier and Shreveport. I started betting sports, okay? And just something to bet, okay? To put money on, you know? It didn't matter. I mean, I run around with guys that would put two ants in a circle and see which one, bet on which one would cross that line first, you know? just to have the money. Just to have the money on it, you know. In the late '60s, I started fading dice here in Shreveport. The boats wasn't here, okay? You know, and I don't know if you know what fading dice means. You got a bunch of people that rolls dice, bets on the dice, bets on the numbers, the faders saying they can't make it, okay? But many a night, I got out of bed with them, warm bed with them. I'd get a call from a bar downtown. They'd want a fader down there. I'd go down there, get down there about 9:30 or 10. We'd have a game to dawn. I mean, it'd be daylight when we quit. Come home, take a shower, and go to work, okay? That's just how sick I was. Still am, okay? I would do this and test 2 or 3 nights in a row before I just pass out. You know, you gotta have some sleep, even at that age, you have to have some sleep, you know. But, you know, that's just the way it was, you know. In the late '70s, I got smart. I become a bookmaker, okay? And I was a bookmaker from here in Bossier. I took bets on sporting events, okay? The money was plentiful. You know, all this other time I was losing money, but now I become a bookmaker. Bookmakers don't lose money, okay? The other idiots that bet bookmakers like I used to, they lose money, okay? And from '78 to '90, I was a bookmaker. Spending money, no time for my 4 kids, no time for Ann. I mean, I would work, you'd have to come home, be by the phone 7 days a week, all day Saturday, all day Sunday. And that's the life of a bookmaker. The money's there, but you have no life, okay? I think Mike will know that. You know, they just don't have no life. In 1990, state police raided my home, arrested me for bookmaking. You say I'm a bad guy, but that's a misdemeanor, and it cost me a couple $1,000 to get out of it. You know, no big deal, okay? No big deal at all. But my wife's home was raided by state police. Amen. That was a big deal. Right. And man cried for days, okay? But still, that never stopped me, okay? It just didn't stop me. After this, I stopped bookmaking, and then I really got smart. I started betting on horses at Louisiana Downs, and that's continued until today, okay? The urge to bet on them horses out there, and knowing as a former bookmaker, there's no win. There's just no win. I promise you, there's just no win. You're going to lose. You're just going to lose. But the action was there, okay? And I had to have part of it, okay? You know, there are many horror stories that I can come across and tell you, but y'all won't be here all day. You know, I promise you, I can tell you some that we sat in cold rooms and played cards down home. We'd go down home Fridays. She'd let me out at the country club, and I'd pick me up on Sunday to play cards. I mean, I was a gambling. I still am. Okay, I'll never get over it. Okay, I realize that. Okay, I just want to. But you know, so there's a lot of things like that. But I want to tell you one thing that I'll never forget. There are 3 things that I'll never forget. On November 2nd, 1963, okay, my first child was born. Okay? She was born approximately 12:30 in the afternoon. I had money on the ball game. As soon as the baby was born, everything okay. So I went home and watched the ball game. We had no phones. There was no cell phones back then. Okay? And we couldn't afford a phone for the house. Okay? I still gambled. Okay? You know, I still lost my money gambling. You know, we couldn't afford it. That's just the way it was. During that time I was gone, I left and went home. I'll go to my deathbed thinking about this. Okay, you know, she started bleeding. Okay, she had to have 6 pints of blood in about 2 to 3 hours. Okay, I knew nothing about this. I was home watching. I lost that game. I remember I lost that game. I'll never forget that I lost that game. LSU lost to Ole Miss that day. Okay, and I had LSU. Okay, always bet on LSU. Okay, I'll never forget those days. So I knew none of this was going on. Dr. McCullough was delivered our child. She started bleeding, and he finally called a specialist in, Dr. Michaud. Y'all have all heard of Dr. Michaud. He was just starting out in practice, very young female doctor. And as of this day, he worked on end for several hours, and to this day, he will not say he stopped the bleeding. It just stopped.
That's
okay?
right.
It just stopped. I returned, you know, I knew nothing about this. About 6 o'clock, I finally made it back up to the hospital, feeling pretty low. And they told me what was going on. I immediately passed out, you know, fainted, and they put me in a bed in the same room Ann was, okay? Because it just wasn't funny then. It's still not funny because I order, I always order, you know, and that's just the way it was. And but I didn't stop gambling, okay? All of that, I didn't stop gambling, okay? And second thing, Ann has always told me that I wish you had women problems instead of gambling problems. And she did, I promise you. She still tells me that. Said the women problems I can compete with. She said the gambling problems I can't. So I'm not very proud of that.
No.
Okay?
Yeah.
Boy, I'll never forget that. And then the next thing she told me was, I never made you make a choice between me or gambling. She never threatened to leave me because of my gambling, because she knew if she had made me make a choice, she loses. Okay? And that's hard to take, you know, her saying that, okay? And because at this time we had 4 kids and everything. That's just how sick I was, okay? On March 27th, 2011, I accepted Christ as my Savior right here. Okay? When I got down here to talk to Brother Bobby, I told him I had a lot of anger in my system. I hated certain few people, and I had a lot of anger. And I told him about that and everything. I never mentioned my gambling problems, okay? Because that's just something for nobody's business, never me. And I always regret that day because I didn't mention the gambling problems. We stood right here and we prayed over my anger problems, and I was standing back about 10 rows back, and by the time I got back there, my anger went away, and I've never had it since then. Ann's got no anger in her body, but she's got more anger in her body than I got in mine. I promise you that. You know, we talk about it all the time. You know, she gets more angry than I do, but hey, we prayed about it, and that's the way it was. You know, but I still gambled. Okay, that's just the way it was. Okay, now the present. Okay, for the past several months, Tim knows I was gambling. We prayed on it. Cheryl knew. What Tim knows, Cheryl knows. What Ed knows, Ann knows. We know. You know, good grief.
Yeah.
Who's kidding who? You know, for the last several months, you know, always was told that my being a believer was a working process. Well, I'm at the point in my life now that I do not think I can keep the urge to gamble in my heart and mind and still build my relationship with God. Okay, and that's what this is all about. You know, do you think I wanted to get up here and say all this? No, I didn't want to get up here and say all this. Did I sleep last night? You know, my eyes are red, but I didn't drink last night. I didn't sleep either. That's the reason. You know, I know Ann and Cheryl has prayed and they for me the last several months. Ann's been doing it for 52 years. Okay, and they prayed that I would surrender the urge to gamble. Now, since March 27, 2011, I haven't gambled that much, but I thought about it all the time. Wake up every morning. You know, just like yesterday afternoon, cloudy, rainy, I didn't go to the track. But last night I told Ann, I said, do you know how hard it was for me to stay away from the track? She said, I surely do. Okay? And she really believes that. Okay? And I do too. But then now we come to last night. Whoever wasn't here last night, I had a good night. Okay? I just had a good night. You know, they prayed for me, had all these people praying for me. And I did wake up, and I think it helped. I know it helped, because this morning when I woke up, I did my prayer and everything. But then I did start thinking about how I could make it out to the track, you know, to bet horses. I want to spend this afternoon with my wife, not thinking about that track. Right. I have no urge to that track. Yes. So I know it helps on that night. I know He set me free. And I know I just got to have my family, which is y'all, to pray that I keep that keep that freedom from Him. You know, it's just ironic that I was raised in Pentecost church 15 years. I've been going to Baptist church for 40 years, and then a combination of them two one night kind of set me free from the other gambling. Wow. That's just the way life turns sometimes. And, you know, and some people say, you know, why didn't Ann leave you? You know, I don't know, you know, except, you know, I married an angel. And Ann did not want me to use that word, okay? But I said, this is my story. I tell it and use my words like I want to, okay? I know she's an angel because on June 25th, 2005, my granddaughter was dead, okay, at the hospital. They put her on a ventilator. She had the bracelet. They were going to take her parts out, okay? So they had her on a ventilator till they had somebody come in and take her parts out. That woman, she stood over her and prayed her right back to life. Hallelujah! That happened. I was there. That's not here to say I was there. Right. And everything. So, and it happened. It's just that way. So all I'm asking y'all to do is just keep praying for me that I don't get that urge to gamble back. Okay? So I really don't want it. I don't know how long me and Ann got left to live. Okay? But I want it to be free from without the urge of me gambling. Okay? That's all I'm asking. Okay? And I thank God for that. And I thank y'all for your time. Okay? Come on, let's